Hey guys, it's Chris. From animal blood that could save lives to very elusive alcohol, here are 8 of the most expensive liquids in the world. Number 8. Horseshoe crab blood. There's a crab out there called the horseshoe crab, and its blood is very unique compared to other crabs, and to other animals on Earth for that matter. You see, its blood does not contain hemoglobin. It actually has hemocyanin. This makes it so the blood of that crab is blue. So why does that matter? It's because this special blood will clot very quickly whenever a bacteria or infection gets into it. This in turn makes it so the blood is an agent of detection in various medical practices. It can be used to help test batches of medicine like penicillin, and even find out if things like certain medical instruments and implants have been contaminated. Which brings us to 2020, because the horseshoe crab blood is not just necessary for finding a true vaccine for COVID-19, it's vital, which is why we need these crabs in bulk. The horseshoe crabs are brought in large groups and then drained of their blood, well, part of it anyways. They're only drained of about a third of their blood. That way they can still live and be returned to the sea. That being said, because of the demand to use this blood to help us find and then fight bacteria and infections, the desire to keep getting this blood is in high demand. Which is a problem, because around 50,000 of these crabs die a year because of the blood harvest that's put upon them. Not to mention their habitats are dying out as well. So as such, conservationists are working hard not just to save them so they don't go extinct, but so they don't die out and thus hinder medical science. That's why the cost of the blood is about $52,000 per gallon at last count, and is likely worth a lot more now via the global lockdown and the more immediate need for their blood. Number 7. Mercury. Mercury is a very interesting metal compared to its fellow brethren, mainly because it's the only metal that stays in liquid form at room temperature, and because of this, mercury is used for various things, including being one of the main ingredients in making thermometers, which are sold all over the world today. However, it can also be used as a catalyst in various chemical procedures and help make gold and tin into amalgams. There are other uses for it, but because of the various concerns about the metal liquid, it's being phased out in terms of proper use. The reason for this belief is that mercury is incredibly toxic when touched with bare skin or somehow ingested. Mercury poisoning is oftentimes fatal. Yet despite this, mercury is very expensive. And though the price has gone up or down in recent years, a mere flask of mercury can cost up to $2,000, if not more. And now for number 6, but first, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell before you go. Number 6. Water from space. This one may seem a little abstract, because why would water in space be such an expensive liquid when we have plenty of it here on Earth? That's because you're thinking about it in a usability way, and not in an expansion way. Because when it comes to humanity's desire to go out into the stars above, we have a major hurdle that would need to be traversed: having water wherever we end up going. It would be a major problem to just bring it with us, and thus NASA and the ESA and more have spent countless millions of dollars and just as many countless hours trying to go and find true water in space on places that we hope to land on. Obviously, we were successful in that regard, as we did find water on Mars, as well as various liquids on places like the moon Europa. But focusing on water, this gave us hope that we couldn't just land on Mars, that we could probably live there. Now, yes, the water is frozen as ice, but it still counts. Which brings us to how is it expensive? Think about the millions of dollars it took to launch probes, satellites, and then rovers to Mars and beyond in order to try and find that water. Even then, we only had pictures and theories as to whether it was real water or just remnants of what used to be water on Mars, which many agree Mars used to have a lush landscape before its atmosphere failed. But then eventually we got definitive proof that there was water there. But the costs don't stop right there, because getting to Mars and then getting that water to the people who reside there would cost many more millions and a lot of time. Yet when we do go there and we're able to drink water from Mars, it'll be a priceless experience. Number 5. Human blood. Blood is easily one of the most important things in the human body, and it's made in a way to not just keep you going, but to replenish should you lose some via injury. This actually makes it so that donating blood isn't just possible, it's necessary at times. There are millions of people in the world today that need a blood transfusion, infusion, and more. But there isn't enough to go around, because there just aren't enough donors. That's why you'll often see places like blood banks offer substantial money to get people to donate. The big cost, though, is what happens after the blood is taken out of the donor's body. It needs to go through several processes to make sure that the blood is ready for whatever medical procedure is needed for the person in need. Add to that the shipping to potentially all over the world, and you have a high cost that can't be ignored at times. Places like the Red Cross will charge up to $150 for a single pint of blood because of how low their own reserves have gotten, which means that a gallon of blood can cost $2,500, if not more, depending on circumstances. So if you are able to donate blood, you might consider it. You'll be helping others, and you'll get some money in return. Number 4. Black printer ink. Printers are one of the luxuries of technology that many honestly take for granted because they've been around for so long and are essential for businesses, artists, and more. But as everyone who has ever had a printer before knows, the downside to this technology is having to constantly buy ink. Now, sure, not everyone buys ink at the same rate or in the same amounts. However, regardless of the ink you need, it'll be expensive to get. This goes double for when you need bundles to get various colors of ink. The most valuable and expensive of these inks is the infamous black ink. So have you ever wondered why the black is the most expensive of the bunch? It's honestly because black is the color most often used in various documents. From Microsoft Word documents to emails to articles on the internet and so on and so forth, most of the time it's done in black ink. Black is the most used color, so that's the one they charge the most for because they know you'll reload it as soon as it runs out. To that end, things like a gallon of HP black ink can cost up to $3,500 if not more. It's pricey, it's expensive, and yet when the printer says you need ink, you will go and buy more. Number 3. King Cobra Venom. The king cobra is one of the deadliest snakes in the world because of the mighty venom that it wields. There's enough venom in a king cobra to kill an elephant, which means it's more than enough to kill scores of humans. But while dangerous, it should be noted that the venom of the king cobra can help make a powerful painkiller, which means it's a liquid worth risking a lot over. This particular painkiller is made because of the protein ohani, which when extracted from the venom can help detoxify it, and thus make the painkiller, one that is 20 times stronger than morphine, which is the standard painkiller medicine in the world today. Because of the risk involved in the work it can do, the venom can cost $130,000 to $150,000 for a gallon. Number 2. Insulin. In the average human, insulin is a naturally occurring thing that your body makes via your pancreas. If you don't know why we need insulin, it's because it helps keep your glucose levels up, as well as make sure that your body has a good metabolism. That being said, there are many people who are not able to make their own insulin, and most of them have diabetes. To that end, getting insulin in their bodies is vital so they can survive without serious threat of sickness or death. So getting insulin from doctors is a must, which makes it both ironic and tragic that companies will charge an arm and a leg to give insulin to their patients. In 2016, a report stated that it cost $13.47 per milliliter of insulin. When you convert that into a gallon, that's roughly $25,000, which is not the end because many times you'll need more than just a gallon to get by in a year. So how is it so costly? And the answer is honestly greed. When insulin was discovered in the United States in the 1920s, the doctors who made it gave it away to their patients for no extra charge or fee. But now it's not the case. In fact, that's not even close. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry just to make this liquid because they know there are millions out there who need it and will find a way to pay for it. Yet this causes many problems, including people refusing their insulin so they don't pay these companies, or others selling all that they have so they can continue to live. In the current global lockdown, it's even harder because people aren't working as much and thus don't have the money and resources to pay for what they need. Number 1. Denali Limoncello Supreme. In the world of high-priced liquids, most people think of expensive alcohols like wines, brandies, vodkas, and more. Indeed, many special bottles of these can cost thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. But the Denali Limoncello Supreme drink costs a lot more. In fact, it costs $30 million for one bottle and one bottle alone. Is any drink worth $30 million? That's kind of a subjective thing to answer, but though the liquid is part of the cost, it's not the focal point of it. That actually goes to the bottle. The bottle itself is not only home to a beautiful liqueur, it also houses, at its neck, 3 single-cut flawless diamonds totaling 13 carats. The body contains one of the world's rarest diamonds, a mammoth rare single cut at 18.5 carats, truly the most stunning gemstone. Only one other is to be made. So as you can see, this is much more than a simple drink. It's designed to be an experience and gives you a rare stone as a result of this. But is that enough to justify $30 million? Well, it's kind of up to you. But given that this has sold before, it's fair to say that someone does feel strongly about it. Thanks for watching. What did you think of this look at some of the most expensive liquids in the world today? Were you surprised by some of the things that made the list? Did you think maybe some of these items were a lot cheaper because of the price you yourself got them at? Which of these do you have in your own home? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and we'll see you next time on the channel.